Greetings, everyone. Welcome to today's class of January, I forgot, early 2023. Take a deep breath. Enjoy yourself. Be simple and happy. Enjoy just being. Let's do that practice. Just enjoy being while we wait for the people to log in. Just enjoy being. Am I out of focus? I think I'm out of focus, man. That's how I feel all the time. All right. If you never heard of something called Vajrabhudam, the first part mostly is about grounding, incarnating. If you never heard about it, I invite you to check out the cities from last year's class. Manasvin, Nivedin, Garima, Shanti. Okay? It serves a purpose of grounding. All right. So we focus on the body and we ground. We densify and we ground ourselves. In 2023, I have decided to just give little chats every week, every class that we have. Sometimes I do seminars again, so as usual, there will be a few Fridays that are skipped, and you will be warned on the page. Otherwise, let's keep going. A class every Friday about simple wisdom. The neighbor upstairs received a gift for Christmas. She received an electric drum kit. Percussions. That's what happens when you can't afford to buy a house. You live in a place with other people. And sometimes the other people, they get drum kits for Christmas. She was kind. She came to talk about it. What can we find? Solutions to cut the mechanical transfer of the sound through her floor, my ceiling. And it was nice because we could talk about it. Just, hey, Mari Carmen. This kind of thing happens in society. We live with other people. We have to find ways to communicate. Now, not everyone communicates. The wisdom of the day is, what the fuck is wrong with you people? You see, this is our arrogance. This is our arrogance. What is wrong with you people? When others do not do personal growth, this is the hardest part of this class. When others don't do personal growth, it belongs to us to do it. Yeah. We grow because they won't. It doesn't mean that we should tolerate injustice. Okay? It doesn't mean that we should accept be abused or disrespected. But the hardest part to keep in mind is sometimes the other party will not do personal growth or won't talk about it or won't open up. you know? Our human response is, what is wrong with you people? You know? And that is arrogance. That is not productive at all. But it appears to be soothing at first, like to blame it on someone else. So let's do a few steps in our mind to understand what is going on, okay? It's not what is wrong with you people. It's not something that is wrong. It's what's going on, what happens, okay? We come from nature, all of us. It doesn't look that we're natural because we're educated and we have straight walls, you know, like everything is Cartesian and planned and calculated. So we kind of forget that we come from nature. We still come from nature. We have an animal nature. And if you just observe yourself, you'll see that you also have these anchor reactions. The other people, they also ask you what is wrong with you. You know, everyone is someone else's idiot. You're driving on the street and someone does something that is different from your driving style, probably something dangerous. You say, fucking idiot. You know, you tell the other. Keep in mind, everyone is someone else's idiot. You, at one point, is someone else's idiot. Just because you are different. Just because you acted differently. Okay. Keep in mind that we're an entire system, a collective. There's also this idea that one small group of people dominate the entire world. That something is planned. You know, the typical conspiracy theory, the gray people, the Illuminati. There are groups who try to have some form of power that is obvious. If it's not corporations, it's the government and whatnot. But the truth is, this fantasy that we have, that a single organized group controls absolutely everything, is a flawed way of thinking. Because even the government, even the corporation, even one organized secret organization can only imagine that they are controlling the population. The truth is, we are in nature. It's a jungle. People behave the way they behave. If you look at an ecosystem, you can try to control with walls a specific forest, but that forest, it goes chaotic. It does whatever it can to survive and then thrive and emancipate itself. It looks like I went out of the scope of the main teaching. That was just to give you an idea of the entropy and the chaos of behavior of all humans. Not a single group of people can actually control everyone. It's impossible. We are in nature completely free. And then we learn to behave in society. And then there are forms of control, attempts. But humanity will always just flow. Like any tribe of animal, you know, there's an illusion of control. There's an impression that someone can command another person. But actually, there's no real authority in life. Now, be careful. I highly recommend that you respect the laws of your country, that you be kind to your neighbor, and behave in a way that promotes peace and harmony. Yes, okay? I am not an anarchist telling you to screw the world. That's not it. I'm teaching that there's actually no authority that really has control over you, except what you believe in your own mind. Once you have found yourself, you will most likely still behave according to social standards, simply out of compassion, because that's the best way that it works. Okay, society today, there's problems. Of course there's problems. But if you go back 500 years ago, it was much more difficult. It was terrible. But we were free. You still are free. Okay, all these social standards, these rules on how to drive on the street, how to fill your income tax report every year, all these things promote happiness. I'm literally against social revolution. I'm in favor of social evolution so that it progressively grows. But I'm against revolution where you break a system to create another, because that just brings more chaos. Nature comes back up. It just brings more chaos. Okay? But inherently, human nature is chaotic and entropic. Some of you don't know what entropy means. Let's not spend too much time on it. Okay, it's a term that was invented in the field of thermodynamics, where a current of cold and hot air system mixing will make a pattern. And while from afar it seems to always convect in the same way, it will never be identical. Entropy is nothing will always be identical to the previous pattern. Okay? So that's entropy. Entropy is not destruction. That's a misconception. Entropy is the flow convection of behavior in humans will never be the same like from yesterday, from the day before. So this idea, I give it an example, okay? Every day you go to work, you wake up, you do your routine, you go to work, you provide your work, you come back home, you eventually get your paycheck, and you repeat that. So from afar, you have the impression that we are systematically doing everything the same. But you will never put the glass of juice or water at the same place. You'll never put your coffee cup handle exactly in the same position. Even if you try, it's going to be different every time. You're never going to behave exactly identically as before. And because there is a mild variation on every single action that appears to be identical but is not, it causes a constant change at the fundamental level of reality. So everything, society, nature, the world, you, are constantly evolving. Now, when you go through an experience that is different from the mundane daily life, you evolve more. Like, it's daily life, but now you go to a trip. You take a plane. Some of you don't fly often or ever. So you go somewhere you've never been. So that's promotes more change because it's very different. But there is always a bit of change, even in the apparently routine, repetitive life. There's always a change, always. So think about the entire world as the system that, as every breath seems to be the same. Especially during breathing exercise, you're convinced that 20 breaths in a row are the same. They're not identical. The muscle fiber is different. The way the air filled which alveoli inside is not the same. Like, at the micro level, nothing will ever be exactly as it is. A metaphor that is, actually it's called analogy, that is very frequent is no two snowflakes are alike. Snowflakes fall from the sky in billions every year where it snows, in the places in the world where it snows, such as in Canada, where I live. There's a meter of snow, like 3 feet of snow in front of my house now, in front of my window. So, no two snowflakes are alike. In the billions that fall, they will never be alike. They will look similar, but they will never be alike because the structure changes all the time. In the entire history of snowflakes of the universe, no two snowflakes will be identical. It will never happen. That is a fabulous power of entropy that is universal. there is always variation and change, which means there's always evolution, which means there is no true control. It does not exist. It's impossible. It's just a wonderful way to contemplate life as an ever-changing, ever-evolving experience. Even though every day seems to be the same, there's this little change that just ensures a bit of evolution all the time. And that means there's no true form of control. And that means every conspiracy theory where one group of people, probably rich and powerful and mystical in nature, control the rest of the world is false. It is flawed. In the economy of the world, there's always competing interests, market shares, and there's an evolution. Some people collaborate together as a caucus, some people split. I mean, this happens. But at your scale, at your level of the individual, you have perfect authority over your life. And you should use that authority to respect social standards, to behave with kindness, compassion, to enforce justice, but also harmony in the world. Stop focusing on being so angry and focus on promoting evolution and not promoting suffering. Recurring suffering is not useful, doesn't look useful. There's this part inside us that has not resolved parental issues. We blame the parents for whatever. Even if you have a very harmonious relationship with your actual parents, of course, but there's a normal projection. As a child, you expect the parents to provide and care. That's normal. As we grow, that need ends. Eventually, you as the children have to provide for your parents as they grow back to the child state or the elder state. But there's this part in us that is stuck in the first years of our life. It usually, I have it, and I've done a lot of personal growth. Lots. I can feel it inherently lurking in the shadows of my subconscious mind. And that produces a projection on the authority. And if you let it dominate your fantasies, you will want to observe a group of people with authority over you that are not doing their job. It comes from this biological normal reaction of everything that didn't go according to your plan when you were a kid. It's still there, trying to blame some form of authority. And because of that, we have forgotten that we are completely free and we have absolute authority over our own life. There is a political and economic reality that tries to operate the world as best as possible. There's no conspiracy where you are the victim of a higher form of control. There's none. Oh, let's go with that argument. But because of society, I cannot have this, and that. You see, go back 1,000 years, 5,000, 10,000 years. We didn't have this, and that. It was not invented. It's not part of nature. Whatever you yearn for more, like everyone wants to be a billionaire or a multimillionaire, it's impossible. It doesn't work that way. If everyone was a billionaire, A slice of bread would be $1 million. I mean, the economy would adjust so that there's an average and a few that are above and a lot that are below. It's like that, okay? This fantasy that everyone can be a millionaire is a complete misunderstanding of harmony, of how economy works. Where if everyone is somewhat in the average of the economy, then harmony is possible. And you can be satisfied of everything you can get. Now let's make a link on how I started this class. The neighbor upstairs received a drum kit, an electronic drum kit, so she can lower the volume of the speakers, but when she hits with the thumb, boom, boom, there's a mechanical transfer in the apartment, and she came to talk about it because she's a nice person and she wants me to be happy. I want her to be happy. So we spoke of, sound insulation and mechanical transfer of sound, and solutions are put in place. Up to a point that now it just feels like she's walking steadily. Like when someone walks in your head, she's like walking for an hour every day. It's like, okay, I put some sound and we found ways, but not everyone cares about the other. Not everyone is so considerate. And there will be a point where you have to do personal growth because the other won't. And in this, you will have the reflex, what is wrong with you people? Let us not forget that we all come from an entropic, inherently chaotic, organized dream. We dream of having control and be organized, but we come from an entropic nature. And it all flows, and at one point you'll be the idiot of someone else. And someone will look at you and what is wrong with you because you're not a Muslim or a Christian or part of the Church of Scientology, because you're not part of their gang. The entire world flows in a way that control is impossible. Harmony is possible, but control isn't. Control is an attempt. We do our best, an attempt at harmony. Let's do a contemplation about it. Contemplate the world as just part of a complex, organized jungle where nature just does what it does. Different every day. A bit of chaos, a bit of entropy. A constant state of evolution. And normal turbulence that rise. And every single part of that entropic nature, this apparently organized, apparently chaotic, but it's just entropy. Every part of this world, you, the other, cells, bacteria, stars, every individual part of it has a different behavior than the other one next to it. And that causes contrast, possibly turbulence. Just contemplate it. Constant state of evolution. What is hurt is our pride. What is hurt, what is disturbed by that is our shame and our fear. It's our denial. If we want always to win an argument, if we want to be right, if we always want things to be always according to our plan, we will suffer the fact that it is impossible. And it will cause friction with others. Like, what is wrong with these people? So if you ever have this inner voice, but what is wrong with these people? You know, when you say, what's wrong with the world? You have just said these people. Who are the people? The people is absolutely everyone else except you. That's the people. Like, if you think about what it means, the people is everyone else. When you say what is wrong with these people, you have just suggested that you are a inherently perfect being and absolutely every other human being is wrong, with no exception. Of course, on the surface, you don't believe that. You don't think that. But if you ever have the thought, what is wrong with the world? Or what is wrong with the people? If you just have this kind of phrase structure, it means that somewhere in your subconscious, you believe to be a perfect, accomplished being, and absolutely everyone else is flawed. That's what you just suggested with this fundamentally arrogant phrase. And it happens. I like to use driving as an example. You're driving, it's like, these people. You know, instead of that guy who just did that dangerous thing, you just go with these people. You see how you just jump to the classification of everyone else wrong except me. We go back to this dream. It's a false hope. It's an over-certainty. It's pride. It's an attachment to identity. And it's filled with abandonment. Okay? It's a persecutor power trip. It's built on attaining objectives. When one person does something that aggresses you, you can, of course, state the fact, this pisses me off. This is aggressive. But the part of us that says, what is wrong with these people? Oh, these drivers, like automatically, we put ourselves as, we are not entropic. We are in control. We are the good one. See this superiority complex. We have that. So we have to look at it and admit that we have arrogance. Basically, that's the goal point of this speech. There's two main keys of wisdom I want to transmit today. The understanding that nature is entropic. That chaos, even organized, is absolute. That we don't really have control. That's one part. To understand the entropy of nature, because that's going to be useful this year in the set of wisdom I'm bringing on understanding nature, the true nature of things, not nature, the trees, nature, the nature of things, how the universe works. So that's the first part of wisdom. The second part is we can only accept entropy if we humbly admit that we are arrogant enough to believe we are separate from that nature. Believing ourselves to be better than every other is one way. You see, there's a challenge here because we have to accept on the surface of our mind, we say the words to others because it sounds cool. I don't think I'm better than anyone. We say that phrase, I'm not better than anyone. We say that. But in our behaviors, subconsciously, what is wrong with these people? We construct from, this is just one example, but we have all different ways of communicating, and our inner dialogue comes up with phrase structures that we can only have built if we believe or pretend that we are right and absolutely everyone else is wrong, except those who are exactly like us, exactly in all form. See, that's a charade that we have, masquerade we have with ourselves. We say beautiful things on the surface, I'm no better than anyone. I don't think I'm superior to anyone. We say these and we think them, but we react with anger and arrogance. And there are key words in our phrases, in our mental construct that suggests we don't want to do personal growth. We want the rest of the world to do it. When others do mistakes, they should change. Why did they do that? That's another example. But why the hell do they do that? You just suggested that they should evolve so you would not be irritated by their behaviors. Which means you should do personal growth so I don't have to. Lying to ourselves. The arrogance of lying to ourselves is difficult to observe because it's built on not seeing it. It's fabricated with the material of our mind of not saying that we do that. So admitting to ourselves our arrogance is so hard. It's so difficult. Breathe deeply into that. This is how we can start to do personal growth, because others probably won't. Others sometimes won't look at themselves, and we're going to have to look at, okay, what can I change? Now, maybe the other is wrong, okay? So don't use this wisdom to justify injustice or imprudence or disrespect, okay? We're not there yet, okay? Justice, harmony is super important. Then we have to act outside to correct disturbing behaviors and make this world a better place. Yes, we have to do that. But we have to start first by recognizing what is my arrogance that separates me from the truth. This world is entropic, in constant evolution, which means not a single system that we had yesterday will perfectly control and bring harmony today and tomorrow, because it changes, it evolves, it modulates. The security we seek in reinforced control structures is temporary. The security is temporary, because the structure is based on a reality that has evolved since yesterday. Try to feel this constant change, that evolution, that you really cannot count on any system that you've built in your mind to stay mentally safe from the world. Accepting and embracing entropy and not pretending that you're better than the rest of the world. That you have cultivated competence? Yes, that you can do. That you have competence in philosophy, in personal growth, in spirituality? Yes. That you're better than the rest of the world? Impossible. It's a jungle where tons of phenomena come out all the time. It's art. It's not science, it's art. It's just, artists just throw stuff on the wall, and sometimes I just find it ugly and I say it's not meant to be beautiful. It's art. It's meant to awaken a response. These artists, I'm one of those. And I judge every other artist that do something I find ugly. I really do. But sometimes I do something that is ugly and disturbing. I say, but why did you do that? It's not beautiful. I say, of course it's not beautiful. It's not meant to be. It's art. It's meant to produce a response. It's not supposed to be harmonious, and the response is not necessarily empathy and love and kawaii. No, it's art. It's meant to shock and disturb, and I often do this on my personal wall. You can see it. And when an artist does, a cubic revolution artist of today, so why the hell did he waste $100 of oil paint on 7 lines and 3 squares? Like, what is wrong with these people? I don't say the words. I don't even have the construct. Why did he do that? But fundamentally, I say, what is wrong with these cubic artists? You see, I do that. But, I've got skills to recognize when I do it, but I still do it. You see, my subconscious will say the other are wrong. And then someone will tell me, but you don't use paint, you use 3D software. And lately I even use AI because I play. I don't consider myself an artist of AI. I play around because it's a new thing, it's a toy. But, real artists are freaking out. AI art is killing the market. No, it's not. No, it's not. You want something beautiful, you need to hire someone to do it. It doesn't change the market. It's a new tool, that's it. But, there's fear, because the world evolves. Anyway, in the world of art, I've had this talk just, I think it was like a week and a half ago. Went to a museum. I go to a museum. It's a disastrous, joyful feeling when I go to a museum, and I love to do that because I've got responses, and this is, I see myself as so arrogant because whenever I see something that I do not see the point of making that art, what is wrong with these art? Like, I condemned an entire category of artists, and then there's 2 other people behind and say, wow, I get what he was trying to say. It's like, basically, we're just different. We're evolving in an entropic world, and not everything is for everyone. And that's how it is. I posted a picture of something that I found to be a complete waste of time. And there are people who replied, wow, this is extraordinary. Okay. Well, I'm also happy that I posted pictures of that museum, of things that I find actually creative and patient and demonstrate something. And I also got comments like, wow, this is fantastic. I use examples with my behavior so that you would be inspired to look at yourself. I describe like little snippets of my personal stories to say, okay, so Maha does that, even with all the personal growth experience he's got. Even with all the skills he has of observing himself, he still does that, okay? So I want you to have this reflex, okay, we're built like this. Even my own subconscious is entropic. I, as a person, evolve beyond my own control. I mean, that's evolution right there. I like to think I know myself, but I only know who I was up to 5 minutes ago. I have evolved. I know who I was yesterday. I don't know who I am now. This is a mystery. I am quite similar to how I was yesterday, but I'm not identical. Entropy. It changes. The universe is in constant modulation. I want you to look at yourself. And this illusion that you have that you know yourself, it's okay to have a form of security of you probably know a lot about yourself. But this 100% I know exactly who I am is impossible. You have to live with this little unknown factor, the uncertainty about yourself, about the rest of the world. No, I do not know how the entire world works. And anyone who ever had a certainty, I know how the world works, they just had good ideas according to yesterday. But that world has changed and evolved. There is no certainty. And in this way, discovery is ensured. Evolution is an absolute reality. All right. Try to wrap your head around all this, okay? Entropy. Evolution is absolute. And I can only embrace true laws of nature, the fundamentals of nature, if I recognize my arrogance of believing I am separate from it or different from it. Right? Let's try to understand this very complex wisdom today. Right? Peace. Contemplate this week. For those who like to do the homework, like last year, the year before, it was like this week, do 5 to 10 minutes of this and that. The practice this year, of course, only for those who care, and I have time, is after a few days, rewatch the videos and try to re-understand the same wisdom after hearing it the first time. Try to be exposed to that wisdom a second time. And if you don't have another 45 minutes, split it in 2 periods of 20. Find a way. If you want to do the homework, some people just look at the video every weekend. That's fine too. But see how you would understand deeper a wisdom by rewatching it later. It's quite interesting how a wisdom can be deepened after a bit of contemplation. Right? Peace. And if you haven't trained that, Manasvin Nivedin Garimashanti Rasavada, if you want to go to the 5th point, but the first 4 is the most important. We will start with this every single class of this year, Manasvin Nivedin Garimashanti, because it's all about this incarnate nature and embracing the entropy of it and finding peace in this dense world. That's the point of this year's training. All right. And a bit of supernatural at one point, like not movies, supernatural, not Star Wars and Hogwarts. No, just sensitive, spiritual stuff. All right. It was fun. More complex stuff will be coming. Sometimes a bit more simple, but mostly more complex. It's going to be all right. Peace.